People bring a lot of things to relationships that affect the way those relationships develop. They bring their culture, they bring ethnicity, they bring socioeconomic status. But one of the most important things that they bring to relationships is what they've learned in their family.
The reason we're more traditional is just our parents are very traditional.
I wouldn't want to be a mother like her. And so eventually that gets to the point where I'm like, I don't want children.
I learned from my parents that you cannot change anyone, and I will always hold that with me, and I think that's something very healthy.
My parents were together and still are together, and I think growing up with that has made it very important that I find someone who I can be with for a while, and I think I tend to look at a lot of reasons why that person won't work out when I meet someone or start dating them.
The one main way I was most affected by my parents is it scared me to ever want to get married.
Definitely their divorce. I think it affected a lot of views I had on relationships, on men. It made me want to seek out relationships or seek out the attention from men or having a boyfriend because I lacked a father figure in my life. My dad wasn't around.
Research is very clear now that early adversity, particularly in the family, increases the risk for many, many problems, including depression, anxiety disorders, substance abuse problems, eating disorders, trouble in relationships, low self-esteem. And of course, all of these problems may then have an effect on how people function in their close relationships.
Because my brother was my mother's only son, she spent a lot of time looking after him and didn't spend so much time with my sister or me. And I remember in high school, I hated high school. I hated every minute of it. I wasn't academic, and my mother didn't allow me to do anything extra. I remember I really wanted to go out for the softball team, and so I did it my junior year, and I made it to the final cut, and then I was cut, and she was so happy. I remember coming home telling her, and she was just thrilled that I didn't make it, because then I could be home to help take care of my brother more. A big part of why I was also so kind of withdrawn was because my stepfather was really cruel. I remember one time my grandmother, I was her favorite grandchild, so she spoiled me, and she bought me this video game, and I took it over to my friend's house because they wanted to borrow it. And he found out that I had left it over there, and he made me write 10,000 times, "I will not leave my things over at my friends' houses." And then I gave it to him, and he tore it up in front of my face and threw it away. I remember he told my grandmother that I would never grow up to be pretty. There were times when I asked him to help me with my homework because he was a very bright guy. He had a IQ of about 140, I think. So I asked him to help me with my homework a lot, and he would get so frustrated with me and just say such cruel things, like call me stupid and just really just mean things that kids have stick with them for a long time.
There are a number of theories about how family relationships affect later adult close relationships. Essentially, they would suggest that when you grow up in a family where you are not loved or cared for in a consistent manner, then you would develop beliefs about the self in which you wouldn't feel worthy as a person, you wouldn't feel deserving of love, and also beliefs about other people that would suggest that other people won't be there for you, that they can't be trusted, that they don't care about you.
So because of not having my mother around and having Eric talk to me in such a negative way, it really made me not want to trust people and not want to open up to people. So when I started dating Mike, of course, I assumed that he would see my emotional baggage and, the wreck that I am or was, and run the other way.
In order to overcome some of these very serious problems of the past, you really may need to just be willing to open up and to trust somebody and to take in what they can give you.
His personality, I think, complements mine so much because he has such a different outlook on life. He doesn't take things as seriously as I do. He's kind of like a kid at heart, which is something that I needed because I take things way too seriously. I need to lighten up. If I'm having an emotional day, which is pretty much every single day, he really sits there and talks to me about it until I feel better. And he's just been so incredibly supportive, and he's put up with all this emotional baggage that I have with me. And he can see past it, and it doesn't bother him. And I think that's probably the one thing that really helped me was having people that I could talk to about it, people that, I really cared about their opinions and I knew that they loved me no matter what. It's a unique story that you can tell people, and after you tell them, they'll look at you and go, wow, how did you survive that? How did you go through that? I mean, it makes me look like that much stronger of a person. And it's really an amazing feeling.